couldn't do it, man. I tried and I couldn't do it, and I'm back. Been working on some writing today for about 3 hours. Got some work in. Been pushing through my fiction, but I couldn't help but get on Instagram on my computer. That's the way to do it, I think. If you get the app on your phone, immediately you're watching Reels. But if you only log in on your computer, you can check your messages. You can like people who you love, heart their things. And then once you start seeing stuff you don't know about people you don't know, you just X out of it and you don't get in the doom scroll. But I did see the Miguel Vargas home run from the All-Star game, which last night my dad texted me. Sometimes he'll send me a screenshot of like the ESPN kind of update thing where it shows like the stats in the field and the score and everything. And then he sent me like right after Vargas hit the home run. I was like, of course he did. Who thought he wouldn't? And then I hadn't seen it yet. I saw it this morning, or noon or whatever it is. And the commentators were like, the biggest surprise in the MLB from the biggest surprise team in the MLB, talking about how the White Sox were supposed to be bad forever. I feel like I'm talking in an unclear way. So Miguel Vargas is the White Sox. I believe he's playing third base now, but he played first a bit because they didn't have first baseman. And he's been on the team. This is his, I think, third year on the team. So he was on the team that they had the worst record in the MLB, and everyone was shitting on them. Everyone was making fun of them. Even people in Chicago be like, oh, the White Sox are terrible. It's like, you guys don't even watch their team. Even that year, I was like, these guys are going to be good. These guys are building a program. They got a new coach 2 years ago that obviously had a vision for the team. And a lot of the players from that 3 years ago or even 2 years ago when they were also really bad, these are the dudes that now everyone's like, who would have thought this is going to happen? It's literally the same players, a lot of them. It's still like Chase Mydroth was on that following year where everyone was still saying they're terrible. No fans in the crowd. White Sox are terrible. Nobody cares about the White Sox. And Miguel Vargas was literally on that team 3 years ago that was like the worst record. And I think did the Rockies have a worse record the year after them? I don't think the Sox still hold that accomplishment of worst record of all time. But he was on that team, and he got traded from the Dodgers. And then he was saying when he got the nod for the All-Star game, he was like talking about he never thought he would be able to like enjoy baseball anymore. And now 3 years later, it's like these are the people putting in the work. And now everyone's like, oh my God, can you believe it? Nobody would have believed it. It's like so annoying to me. I'm not fact checking myself. So I think Chase Mydroth, who plays second base and has been a serious threat at the bat and in the field. I think he was on the team 3 years ago. He was brought up from Division III or whatever. Miguel Vargas was on that team, and then the following year they brought up that Colson Montgomery, which there's two Montgomerys on the team now, but that Colson Montgomery, even when they weren't doing amazing, he was like making highlight reels and stuff, and he's been on the team for a minute too. So all these guys are like the same dudes who everyone was like talking about how terrible they were. It's like so irritating to me. And then meanwhile, I love the Cubs, but they're playing, their infield is worth like $1 billion. And like half of them are hitting like shit. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe if that's an argument against capitalism, if that's an argument against capitalism, it's like people who are rich suck. People who are rich suck ass, dude. The Cubs are the proof of it. I think I looked up some of the White Sox salaries. It's like those dudes they're making more money than most people. But like compared to the MLB, I don't even think they're making like $1 million. A lot of them aren't. And then there's people signing contracts for 1 year for like enough money to like buy a fucking small town. You know what I mean? Like I know the only exception is like the Dodgers the Dodgers AAA team could play in the MLB because that's how much money they have. And then they bring all those dudes up at the end of the year who are all fresh and not hurt and ready to win the World Series. That's the only game that they play in, apparently. So there's a difference there, but as far as, like, I don't know why it is. Like, and I love the Cubs. I get upset when they lose. But it's just like, I don't know. We saw the same thing last year. I'm not going to actually shit on single players because that's kind of my point, right? But last year we had players, and it's like you bring them up for like a shitload of money because they were playing for another team or had like a long career, and then they'd show up for 1 year and like either get hurt or just like play like 6 out of 10, like 6 out of 10 quality wise. Like, why? I mean, you might as well, at that point, you might as well just be, because a lot of the White Sox players were like rookies that first year that came up, or like they hadn't really even been in the league at all. I don't know what I'm talking about. But here's the other thing. This whole was sparked from the commentators of the All-Star Game. And the All-Star Game is something that I have to watch on mute. I don't know how many people have actually watched the All-Star Game. It's even bad when you watch like your regular team on Fox, or once you get to like the late night game on regular cable or regular television. Like immediately it's annoying. And I love the commentators for both the Cubs and the Sox. And if I go to another channel on the MLB network, some of them aren't very interesting, of course, but it's always like, it's like real commentation of baseball. It's like baseball nerds just talking about baseball. And then once you bring in like the celebration and like trying to make it a big event of entertainment and all that, immediately it starts to annoy me. I have to mute it. The whole thing, like interviewing players while they're playing. Why is that even? They should have done that one time and realized that it was a horrible idea. It's like once every 100 times someone has like a big player I can't believe they do it while someone's hitting. It seems like dangerous. They had what's his Schwarber. He used to play on the Cubs, but I can't remember his first name now. Schwarber, who plays for the Phillies now. He was literally like, he couldn't keep his earpiece in. It kept falling out while he was batting, and he was like trying to talk to them while also batting. Like, that seems dangerous. You know what I mean? Or they've had it with pitchers before. It's like you can't pitch well while you're trying to talk. I don't understand it. It seems like dangerous almost. But yeah, just to wrap a bow on the combo, that was a rhyme. Yeah, I've been a fan of Miguel Vargas for a while. He was always a standout player, even when they weren't doing well. And so now, whenever he's on the screen, I don't know why, but like, because I'll watch the games with my parents sometimes, and whenever Vargas comes up, me or my dad, we always go, Vargas! Because he seems like the type of dude who, like, when he was in Little League, he would be the star player, but they always had to, like, get him back in line. I don't know. He's got that, like, ADHD energy to me. Like, he was always the one who was, like, winning the games for him, but he'd always be, like, doing something that was getting into trouble. And so his coach would be like, Vargas! We've been doing that a while. So good for him. Congratulations to him. I hope he has a long career, and I'm sure the rest of the season is going to be exciting. I do not want to jinx it. What else? Went to Clear Lake, Iowa over the weekend because that's where my grandma, my dad wasn't born there, but he grew up there a lot. I can't remember. His family kind of moved around a little bit because my grandpa was, he was in the military. He was also in law enforcement in Iowa. And so they moved a little bit, but I think he spent kind of like his high school years and some other time in Clear Lake. It's a lot different now than it used to be, I think, because a lot of people kind of just started buying summer homes there when it used to actually be like a real community. Like they had like families living there all the time and whatnot. And now it's kind of just like vacation homes for very wealthy people. But my grandma is still there. She rents a place in the summer, and then in the winter and stuff, she's elsewhere. Yeah. So we've been trying to visit there once a year, really. Went last year, went again this year. Got out on a boat. Got really, really sunburned. Times have changed in boating, that's for sure. I mean, I was always just a visitor there, right? Because I lived most of my life in Davenport, and then left Iowa. I don't really know that much about Iowa. I was joking about this, because like when I meet family from Iowa, a lot of my like ancestry actually does, like, they're people who lived in Iowa like their whole lives, or they have ancestry going back through Iowa. But like for me, because where I grew up, the Quad Cities, it's like on the Mississippi, on the border of Iowa and Illinois. And so I've always been like an Iowa citizen, and I like where I grew up and all that. But like everything like west of Davenport, which is the entire state, is kind of like a mystery to me. I mean, I'll drive through it. I was driving by Cedar Rapids while we were going there, and I was like, I don't think I've even been to Cedar Rapids, which is the second biggest city in Iowa. It's like right outside Iowa City. So I've been close to it because I lived in Iowa City. But anyway, I think it's the same anywhere with Clear Lake. Clear Lake is like, it's close to Minnesota. It's like far north Iowa. And it's almost to the Iowa-Minnesota border. Growing up, the way I remembered it, it was kind of just like, I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like overly rural, but that was kind of the population was like on the cusp of rural, like kind of small town. A lot of like old trucks, and the houses were cool, but they weren't like overly like mansions and shit. And now it seems like people are kind of just buying up property there for their summer homes or to retire there, which is kind of, it's happening all over. But that's one place that's kind of being impacted by it because it's got a lake that you can buy a boat and boat on or whatever. Didn't really seem like it was that way when I was growing up, but we can talk about something else. I don't want to offend any rich people. Well, I worked hard for this house that sits here with nobody in it. I don't want to offend any rich people. Okay. The last thing I want to do is offend any rich people that do not give a shit about me. You guys ever heard of the psychedelic rock artist Ty Segall? I am a fan of him, a huge fan of him. Let's put it that way. But I went through a phase around the time I was in undergrad, discovering new music that wasn't simply overly distorted guitars and aggressive vocalizations. I think I discovered him around the time I was getting into like reading about music reviews on blogs, and he's kind of like his music's amazing, but I think he found his niche in like kind of the Pitchfork sort of hipster blog sort of era. He's like a California dude who pretty much releases 1 to 3 albums a year of kind of like a garage rock, noisy, psychedelic, nostalgic rock and roll music that kind of draws from, I don't know. Once I listen to him now, I can see that he has a lot of Beatles influences. It'd be like if the Beatles had like a distortion pedal. That seems to be a lot of his style, but back then it didn't really register to me because I didn't really listen to the Beatles back then. But he's got like a really cool sound, and he's so productive. It's exciting to see like kind of what he does. Every year he's going to drop a project or he's going to do something. So it's like, what's he going to do next? He's kind of one of those people. I did see him live in maybe 2017 at First Avenue in Minneapolis. He was touring on the album Emotional Mugger. And he came out wearing a rubber baby mask with a band that fucking made the whole room shake. He's a badass. So anyway, just like anything, I'm sure everyone's the same way. I'll like get nostalgic. And then it's like, oh wow, they've released like 5 albums I haven't listened to. He's an extreme example because, like I said, he releases 1 or 2 albums with his own name. He also plays in other bands. So he releases a lot of projects. But I've been having fun going back and catching up. The one that he released last year... Am I yelling? The one that he released last year is it's called Possession, and it's really good. It's probably one of the best vocal writing he's done because he does a lot with his melody and changes in like he'll do what's the word, octaves. In like the same melody, he'll do different octaves, or he'll have like his vocals seem to have different parts. I'm looking forward to listening to one. Apparently, there's like, it's one of his more epic albums. That's got, his songs have different orchestrated sections called 3 Bells. But it seems like he's really working. I haven't had him come across my radar for a while, but I have his vinyl, so it's like, I'm not going to forget about him, right? That's one of the pros to collecting albums you like, is like, you're not going to forget about it, right? And then he did an interview on the WTF podcast that I remember parts of the things he said. Because I was like, when I was first discovering him, and I'm a pretty big fan of, I've said this before, people who just like work and they're prolific and they don't even give it a second thought, they're like very inspiring to me. And he's one of those people. But not only that, he's not just prolific, like his work is really, really good, which is more important than being prolific. But if you have both those things, that person's gonna, catch my attention. And so I was starting again that WTF interview, which I remember certain parts of it for some reason. I don't know why I'm like that. Sometimes people just say things in a certain way and then it just like sticks in my head. It probably happens more with like musicians too. Because he's like a musician. The way they talk, it's like you remember sentences. Like, I remember exactly how they said that. That's been happening to me a lot in, I've been rewatching Sunny in Philadelphia from season 1. Well, I watched season 16 and 17 first because I hadn't seen those. And then I went back to season 1. And the amount of lines in that show that not only do I remember what they said, I remember exactly how they said it in those early seasons. It's like crazy. It's a very musical show. I don't know if that makes sense. I wonder if any of them play instruments. But it's like I think it's how they kind of engage with each other. And I've been listening to the podcast too. Because they had a podcast that hasn't had an episode in a really long time. But they talked about how early on when they didn't really fully know what they were doing, they were kind of just seeing what each other did. And then if someone did something funny, they would kind of absorb it. And so the show has like a really musical quality to it, that the characters kind of do the same vocal things even. I mean, they're always like going higher. That's like the simpler thing. But like one thing I noticed, I think it's specifically, so 2 of the characters, Dee and Dennis Reynolds, are twins, a boy and a girl twins. And both of them do this thing. I don't know if I'll have to pay attention to see if other characters do it. But if they get like flustered, they'll do like a ah. That was a bad example of it. Like I'm trying to do D, like she goes, ah, I'm gonna have to think about this. Or like, ah, I don't know about this. But like Dennis does it too. I don't think Frank does it, and he's supposed to be their dad. I'm trying to have to think of I feel like it's mainly them two who do it, but it's like really funny. It's like a really funny way of speaking. And then all of them kind of get higher when they talk if they get upset. Which they do a lot. I'm back one day later. You know what I've been thinking about? This has been something that's kind of been annoying me a lot, actually. And it has to do with generations, and it has no fault towards Gen Z themselves. It doesn't have anything to do with if you are Gen Z. I'm not annoyed with you. But I keep on seeing, like, articles, posts and whatnot, people saying that Gen Z are bringing back like physical media or bringing back old things that we left behind. That's the article I saw. And like I'm gonna tell you why that's so irritating to me. It's because like when I was like in my 20s, early 20s, like I was getting into vinyl. I always have been a fan of physical media, but of course, I also grew up with it because I actually CDs were like one of the main ways you listen to music, whether they were burned or not, or iPods when I was growing up. But then I started getting into vinyl and like other types of collecting other nostalgic things. And we as millennials got hated on so much. Like people would call us hipsters. That's like literally the definition of a hipster is someone who does things that are eccentrically not a part of modern technology. And it was like almost to the point that it was like an insult, like name calling, like calling people hipsters. And it didn't stop me from doing it. But now all I see are like Gen Z's bringing back physical media. It's like, no, they're not. And like, how come all of a sudden it's like a good thing because they're doing it? It's because like on the picture there's like a hot chick. That's why. It's like an indie chick with bangs that's like super hot in her 20s. And then it's like, oh, wow, that's really cool. It's really cool that Gen Z are buying vinyl. Like, you know how much shit I've gotten in my life for listening to records or like collecting records? Or even like hipsters, you were a hipster because you shopped at thrift stores back in the day. And people would like hate on you. People would be like, you fucking hipster. Look at those fucking hipster weirdos. And now it's like Gen Z actually, it seems like most of them shop at thrift stores. No, I don't want to say it like that. That's a generalization. But a lot of people I know who are in Gen Z shop at thrift stores. So it's not hipsters anymore because I don't know why. You tell me why. Here's some of the things back in my 20s that people called me a hipster for that I can remember off the top of my head. I collected vinyl. I had a film camera. That was another thing on the list. Like, oh, they like printed pictures now. They like developed pictures. It's like, I don't know. I mean, it depends on who wrote the article too. And it probably was maybe someone from Gen Z wrote it. I don't know. Because if it was a millennial, they would be like, look at these fucking hipsters, dude. I've said on record that I do feel like millennials in general, but specifically the younger millennial generation, which is myself, we kind of got a little bit skipped on a lot of like success. I feel like, especially, it's hard to find actors who are millennials that are really popular in comparison to Gen X or boomers or whatever. And I mean, honestly, I didn't think about this till later. It's like we were in our, like my kind of general high school. If I think about high school, so my kind of age would be probably from people born in 88 to 96. Because that'd be like from when I was a freshman to a senior. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, around that time, like we were in our mid 20s to early 30s when COVID happened too. And that's kind of when everything kind of paused. And that's also kind of a streak where you're supposed to be really hitting your career. That's when people are really paying attention to you, I think, in the arts. I also think the whole, this is going to be hard to explain because I'm talking specifically about art and not about things outside of art or activities outside of art, but like the kind of cancel culture thing, that did kind of take a toll on millennial humor, I think. And some of it is kind of like, some of it is like probably things are offensive. But I do feel like millennial humor was pretty, it's pretty edgy and it's almost like millennials are accused of being sarcastic or ironic. And so a lot of our humor was like saying things that are like supposed to be making fun of how stupid they are, but we said it in like a way that it wasn't like explaining that we're joking a lot. Actually, going back to Sunny in Philadelphia, that's kind of their humor too. And I think they're technically Gen X, but I'm sure the people who made them famous and the people who were watching their shows are millennials. Like they were speaking to millennials, and that kind of became our humor too. I remember when I was still in high school, I went to a football game in Iowa City. I saw the Hawkeyes, and me and my friend, we were on the bus, and we were trying to get to the football stadium. And a bunch of the college kids, because we were probably juniors or seniors in high school, a bunch of the college kids were literally quoting Sunny in Philadelphia, and we knew what they were quoting. It was kind of like that. I mean, that show, even in high school, was like everybody was quoting it the next day. Like when you would see it live on Tuesdays or whatever it was. I think it was Tuesdays or Thursdays or some day of the week. Next day, everyone was like quoting it word for word. But obviously, it wasn't just my high school, because then it was like they were talking about those. The other thing that happened that was hilarious, because I think I tried alcohol like one time before that. Like I didn't drink in high school really. I mean, I tried it like I think twice. I never got drunk or whatever, but we were on the bus, like the CAM bus, I think is what it's called in Iowa City, where it's taking you to the stadium. And my friend, he was holding a Gatorade, like a Gatorade bottle, and one of the girls, it must have been one of the college girls, and looking back, she was probably hammered, but she was like, she saw his Gatorade bottle, and she's like, "Oh, that's a good idea." Like she thought he had some liquor in it, which is hilarious. And we were like, "What?" Like, two dummies. Yeah, that humor really got criticized, and people blame like millennials for cancel culture, and it was some millennials, but as a whole, millennials as a generation, like we were kind of like we were pretty wild, like the shit we said, and looking back, a lot of it was pretty bad. I mean, we were super homophobic. Just to the point that it wasn't even homophobic anymore, because we weren't even really talking about actual like we would just use words that you shouldn't use just as like exclamations. And it's good that kind of stuff is gone. But it was like a pretty big shift of like people criticizing humor a lot. And, we're coming up and we had this idea of humor, and it's like, well, what are we supposed to do? Yeah, you can try and categorize it. It is sort of, I think Gen X certain pioneers in Gen X started to create that humor like Sunny in Philadelphia. Because when you look at Sunny in Philadelphia, it's almost like a giant inside joke. And then I think millennials were all kind of watching that sort of stuff. And then it became a part of your own friend groups. And then there was sort of the sarcasm and irony and like saying kind of hyperbolic things in a way that's supposed to be, you're not serious. I think that was our humor a lot. And then I think it started to get criticized in the end of it. Like people outside of the inside joke started to make moves to stop it. Stop it at all costs. There will be no laughter. There will be no fantasy. There will only be reality in the gray, cold, real world. All right. On that note, I'm going on a hiatus, guys. We'll see. I feel like I probably it gets to a point in the day, especially if I'm working at home by myself, where I start to fucking talk to myself. So that's really what happens. All right. I'll see you guys sometime. I don't know when. It'll be a surprise. It'll be a surprise to the both of us. All right. Goodbye.